Do you have a hot lather machine similar to this that quit working? Well, every now and then mine quits on me, and I have over the years thought that the cans of lather were bad and bought new cans, and that didn't work. But I have found out how to fix a problem and get it working again, so let me take a few things apart. It's relatively simple, and as you can see, I've taken the head off, removed the can of shaving cream, and down in here I'm going to start taking off taking out these screws so I can get into where the lather is heated up. So give me a minute and I'll get some screws apart for us. As you can see, I took the nozzle off, and then I've got 4 screws laying here that I've removed. The screws came from these 4 holes, and there's 2 back here by the power cord. So let me pull this rascal apart. If you turn it over and then remove this top part and watch, because you'll want to know how this all goes back together. There's a little slide in here, and that was for the adjustment on either lather or gel. So we're going to take that out. There's a spout in here with a rubber tube. Take a look at where it goes. Back in the back, you can see where the electrical line comes in. So let me get this out here. Real simple. I've lifted it out, and I've got this unit, and this is where the lather goes in and heats up. So at this point, I want to get into where the heating element is, and all of these screws around here I'm going to remove. Now I'm going to lay them out so that I can remember where they start. I'm going to go in a clockwise fashion. I'm going to start with this screw up here, and I'm going to place them over on the side so I can remember where they go. There is, if I remember right, and we'll take a look here in a minute, but there's one screw that's either longer or shorter. We need to remember where that screw goes. So give me a minute here and I'll get the screwdriver going, get these out for us. Okay, so I've got all the screws removed now, and as you can see, I've lined them all up. Starting at the top is the first one that I took out, and then I went clockwise around the part that I'm removing. So I started right up here at this one, and I went around clockwise. You'll notice that this third screw is shorter, and that's 1, 2, 3. And I've got another screw that's number 6. So there's 3, 4, 5, and 6 is where that other short screw came out of. Now I can come up in here and I can remove this top, and let me jump ahead here a minute and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so this came off the top, and as I turn it over, this piece was down inside there. So I'm going to lift this out and turn it over. Now I'm getting close to where I need to be. So the screws that are around the side here all need to be removed, so I can get in there and access where the shaving cream's going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this backwards, because I started up where the power cord was at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to say that where the spout is my 12 o'clock, and I'm going to go around clockwise again and remove all. Alright, as you can see, I've removed all the screws from there, and as you might guess, all those screws are short and small. Now you're going to say, okay, Al, what tool have you been using? Well, I have been using a Phillips screwdriver, and it's a #1 Phillips screwdriver. So if you look on your screwdrivers, a lot of times you'll see they're marked. This happens to be a #1, and it's telling me that it's a 3-inch long screwdriver. Now, this top piece will come off. Don't worry about how it's oriented, but I will tell you this, it will only go on one way. And that's because if you look down inside there, you can see all of the gunk from the, that's technical term, gunk, from the shaving cream. And that shaving cream's been heated up, and I generally leave it, turn it on, hop in the shower, and then when I get out of the shower I shave. And the bottom, or the top side, the lid, also is got this configuration in there where the shaving cream goes through. So that's why I say it only goes on one way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get toothpick, Q-tip, and some hot water, and I'm going to clean this all out. Alright, I've got it all cleaned out, and on this side there's one little thing that I will caution you about. Right along this outside edge is a rubber gasket, so don't damage your gasket, alright? And on the inside of the lid part, right in the middle, is a little piece of rubber, and that's where the shaving cream can goes up in there. And don't damage that little rubber there. And you can see the little white spot there, that's the little hole that goes through the rubber. And what I've done is taken the toothpick, cleaned the bottom, and then taken that toothpick, and inside that channel I've rubbed the sides of the channel on the lid, and I've also rubbed the sides of the channel on the base. So the heating element that's back in the head, that transmits heat to this metal piece that the shaving cream goes through, and as this gets warm, then the shaving cream goes through those channels and comes out the spout. And if you're like me and like to leave that on thinking, boy, I'm going to get nice hot shaving cream, I probably leave it on too long, and I'm probably cooking whatever shaving cream's in there. So I guess if I was paying attention, I'd figure out how long it really takes for that to get warm and the light to stop blinking, and then not leave it on quite as long. But how often do I need to do this? Oh gosh, I haven't kept track, but I'm thinking maybe once a year, maybe once every other year. This begins to clog up on me, and when I go push down on the dispenser button and it doesn't dispense any hot lather, that's my cue to take it apart. So to put this back together, we're just going to go in the reverse process. Like I said, this only fits in one way, so I'm going to put that back in, and then I'm going to run all the screws back in, and we'll follow along. Alright, I've got this all back together now, so I'm ready to do some more assembly. And let's get the base in here, and we'll set that down into, oh, need to go this way, don't we? Yeah. So let's set this down in the base, and let's see, we need to look at this pivot point here, because that pivot point needs to go down in here, and it doesn't go from the back side, but it does slide in right there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that down in there, and those little pegs, these little pegs that are on the side, those are going to slide down in that slot, and it's kind of hard to see on the video, but you can get that in there. Now the other thing we need to pay attention to is a spout, and the spout needs to go in the slot. So we're going to lift that rascal up, and the little plastic base around there goes down in the slot. There I go. Once I got that in the slot, and I know that I've got it hooked down inside here, because when I take my flashlight and look down in there, I can see those little arms are sticking in the grooves. The wire's in the proper direction. I'll take this selector switch, and the selector switch I'm going to put, it has grooves in it. There you can see the groove, and that groove is going to ride on those rails there, curved rails. So let me get this in here. There we go. And I'll just check to see, does it slide back and forth like I anticipate? Yes, it does. I'm going to leave it somewhere in the middle and put the top lid back on. Now I've got the lid back on. I'm going to keep it squeezed together. I'm going to rotate it upside down and put those 4 screws back in. Alright, I have the 4 screws back in, the 2 here and the 2 back by the power cord, and I've also put the spout back on. So now I've got everything assembled, and I'm ready to grab that can of shaving cream and reassemble my hot lather machine, so that tomorrow morning after that nice hot shower I can have a great shave. And folks, that's just how simple it is to fix this hot lather machine, so you can get some lather out of it again without throwing it away and buying a new one. So kick back and enjoy, and glad I could pass on what I found out through trial and error. Thanks, folks.